Kemonozume is an anime series written and directed by Masaaki Yuasa, animated by Studio Madhouse, and broadcast on WOWOW from August 5, 2006 to November 5, 2006. Plot: since ancient times there has existed a race of flesh-eating monsters called Shokujinki that can assume human form or otherwise live in the shadows while feeding on humans. The Kyofuken martial arts style school was created to hunt down those creatures, and its teachings have been passed down through the generations to the Mamoto family. The story revolves around the forbidden romance between Toshihiko, the latest heir of the Kyofuken school, and Yuka, a young woman who is also a Shokujinki. Characters: Toshihiko Mamoto is a 30-year-old skilled disciplined swordsman and the chosen heir of the Kyofuken dojo. Throughout most of his life, he has been dedicated to the sword and inheriting the Kyofuken dojo. In a twist of fate, he meets Yuka one night while she's skydiving. Though he tries to resist his feelings, he immediately falls in love with her and the two begin a passionate relationship. Until his father's death, he had no idea that Yuka was a Shokujinki. When her real identity is discovered, he relinquishes his responsibility by running away with Yuka. Though the relationship faces several perils and hardships from both sides, Toshihiko truly loves her. One thing that contrasts their relationship to the one of Harumi and Jazar, is his refusal to use Kemonozume to win the final battle. Despite his injuries and losing his arm, he refuses to cut off Yuka's arm and fights against Oeba with all his strengths and wits. In the end of the series, he and Yuka raise their daughter in peace. Jin, Bon, and Sara are seen with the family, vacationing with the family together. Voiced by Hidenobu Kuchi, Yuka Kitsuki, a 30-year-old Shokujinki who works as a skydiving instructor. She fell in love with Toshihiko as the two have fled from their past lives. Though both faced hardships in their relationship, Yuka truly loves him and vows to protect him. Near the end of the series, she's revealed to be pregnant, but the paternity was never truly revealed. It is shown that before Toshihiko that she had an on and off again relationship with a fellow Shokujinki, Gakito. While Gakito believes he's the father, Yuka believes it is Toshihiko's. In the end, she and Toshihiko raise the child free from their past lives along with Jin, Bon, and Sara as a family. Voiced by Hikaru Shirina, Kazuma Mamoto, the younger half-brother of Toshihiko. After his father's death, he assumes control of the Kyofuken school. His aim is to rid the world of Shokujinki with the help of a mecha-like buster suit that he has personally developed. He clearly has an attraction to Ryui. Though her feelings are never entirely stated, she is clearly attracted to him but is still fixated on Toshihiko. Near the end she states she'll stay with him. After he discovers the truth of his heritage, he kills one member that stayed in the Kyofuken and comes close to killing another. He then goes in an attempt to kill Oeba, only to fall into his trap and dies from his injuries after Oeba had his arm surgically removed. Given how long he's been able to live normal among humans, it is hinted that Oeba is the one that brought out his Shokujinki instincts. Most likely with a drug he used on Yuka once, his medicine, then encouraged Kazuma to eat octopus and consume alcohol, which were hinted to trigger Shokujinki's monstrous instincts. Voiced by Hiroyuki Yoshino, Ryui Kenoki, a female member of the Kyofuken school where she has also been raised. Once as a child she was jokingly engaged to Toshihiko and is very much infatuated with him. Though many, including Jazar himself, stated that Ryui was wasting her time pinning for Toshihiko. Ryui childishly believes the toy ring he gave her meant a real engagement and isn't above dirty tactics to try and steal him away from Yuka. She even seduces him into a tryst after an argument with Yuka. But he quickly regrets it and tries to tell her he doesn't want her. It is hinted after he leaves her and the group twice, she starts a relationship with his brother Kazuma. After Oeba takes over the Kyofuken, she volunteers for an experiment and becomes attached to Kemonozume. He has her and Yuka drugged and forced to fight. While defeated, she's still alive until Kazuma finds her. Whether because of the drugs or he had no control yet of his Shokujinki abilities, he loses his mind and devours her when he thinks she's died. Voiced by Shinoka Kanuma, Kayatara Oeba, a Kyofuken swordsman who later took charge of the school's administrative tasks. Has an unassuming role in the beginning of the series but is later revealed to be the main antagonist. In the past, Oeba was shown to be innocent and kind individual. But after seeing the carnage Jin did for power, it ultimately shattered him and changed him completely. His motives for what he's done are never clear. He's stated he did what he did for his son, so he would be strong and not mocked by others. Another hint is that he did his cruel deeds to be stronger and keep power. One thing is known, he had an attraction to Harumi. An attraction he never acted on, but when he becomes corrupt, his attraction becomes a sick, twisted obsession. He kept her arms as his and cloned her body multiple times, in a sick attempt to make her his. Voiced by Kenji Utsumi, Bonj Goeba, sometimes called Bon, is a mysterious, possibly albino giant-sized man, who's a traveling detective. He also has a gift for making origami and gives them as gifts. He first appears in Episode 3, apparently sent by Kazuma and the Kyofuken to find Toshihiko. He would catch up to the couple in Episode 6. Though he seems intimidating because of his height, he's actually very calm, gentle, and generous. When Yuka believes he's come to kill them, he calmly reveals not come to cause her or Toshihiko harm, only to find them. He spends time developing a friendship with Yuka at her birthday dinner, and after befriending the couple, he decides to lie to his employer about their whereabouts. It is revealed that he's the illegitimate son of Kayatara Oeba and a prostitute, only known as Nana by her photo. He told Yuka in Episode 6, that she died giving birth to him because of his size. He would reappear in Episode 10 after Toshihiko loses a battle against Oeba and reveals he also has a Kemonozume. It is hinted his father forced him to take them. Oeba claims some of his cruelty is to make the world better for Bon, because he doesn't want his son mocked or weak. However, Bon doesn't feel mocked or weak and doesn't want what his father wants. He ultimately aids Toshihiko to save Yuka and stop his father, stating all he wants is friends. He, along with Jin, are one of the few characters to survive. He's seen in the epilogue, apparently vacationing with Jin, Yuka, Sarah, and Toshihiko as a family. Now free from their pasts, he's enjoying his time with them. He's seen alongside Jin, as he took photos of Yuka and Toshihiko with their daughter. Voiced by Daisuke Gori, Jazar Mamoto, the leader of the Kyofuken dojo. He is the father of Toshihiko and Kazuma. In his youth, it is revealed he, Oeba, and Jin were excelled trio students of the Kyofuken. He and Jin had a friendly rivalry that lasted long into adulthood. At some point, he was married before, though it is never said what happened to Toshihiko's mother. It is assumed she passed on. With his work, he left Toshihiko in the care of relatives. Things changed for them when he met and eventually fell in love with Harumi. So much that he lost his match on purpose with Jin, so he could become the leader of the Kyofuken. This caused a big rift between the friends, as Jin wanted to fight him and win fairly. After Jin tried and became consumed by the Kemonozume, Jazar was forced to ask Harumi for her arms so he could defeat him and stop his carnage. His will was apparently strong enough to keep his mind and defeat his former friend. But he later awoke and believed he had lost control and killed many students, along with Harumi. Wrapped with guilt of his apparent deeds, he has arms cut off and wears prosthetics. He was well respected by all the members and students of the Kyofuken. And while he wanted Toshihiko to lead the Kyofuken, he ultimately told his son to do what made him happy. He was killed by what he thought was his wife, Harumi. While it is believed to show Kujinki and place the blame on Yuka, though there was no proof. When it is revealed at the end that Oeba had used his Kemonozume to take shapes, it is most likely he used his to take Harumi's form and killed Jazar himself. Voiced by Jun Hazumi, Harumi Kitsuki, the past love and second wife of Jazar and mother of both Yuka and Kazuma. According to her, she left her kind because she didn't want to be like them. However, Yuka was told her mother fell in love with a human and left everyone, including her own daughter. Only Jin and Oeba knew her secret and made a pact with Jazar to hide her nature. She raised Toshihiko like her own child and for a time, the blended family was happy. Until January Jazar asked for her arms, to perform the Kemonozume to stop Jin. Though her arms were cut off, it is believed she still survived. Jazar awoke though to find Jin gone, many Kyofuken members, and Harumi dead. Both he and Toshihiko believed he had lost control and killed his wife. It is later revealed that Oeba killed her and at some point killed the others, making Jazar believe he committed the carnage. It is hinted that Oeba cut off Harumi's arms off Jazar, so he could then use the Kemonozume. While Harumi was a dedicated mother to both her stepson and son. It is still never explained why she left her own daughter nor ever tried contact Yuka. It is possible she is the one who left her with her grandfather, but it still never explains her abandonment of Yuka. Voiced by Rei Sakuma, Shin Huuki, a Kyofuken swordsman, he stands out for his afro-like hair and how he developed technological weapons for the Kyofuken to defeat the Shokugeki. While he's friends with Toshihiko, he and another student knifed Satsuji are loyal followers to Kazuma when he takes over the Kyofuken. Aside from Toshihiko, he's also the only member of the Kyofuken to actually survive the end of the series. Many of his former members were either killed or turned into Shokugeki from Oeba's proclaimed medicine, when they left Kazuma to work for Oeba. Knife was killed when Kazuma lost control of his Shokugeki abilities and ate him. He also tried to kill Huuki but left him when Huuki revealed that Ryui went to Oeba to have Kemonozume procedure done to her. He's last seen trying to help Toshihiko when he goes to battle Oeba. His whereabouts are unknown after Toshihiko defeats Oeba. It is believed he is alive but no longer part of the Kyofuken, since many members were dead. Voiced by Anrikatsu, Gakito Oeba. Gakito was a leader of a Shokugeki gang and was Yuka's on and off-again lover. He's seen in the first episode, fighting with her over the relationship with Toshihiko. He strongly believed she'd end up like Harumi and that he could only love her. Much to his anger, Yuka still rejected him. Her Shokugeki nature was found out at the funeral of Jazar. When it appeared the other Kyofuken members were ready to kill her, Gakito came to her aid and fought off the members. This gave her and Toshihiko enough time to escape together. Though it is never stated, it is possible he hired Himeko try and find information in episode 5. He would reappear at the end of episode 7 and took Toshihiko hostage. In episode 8, he and his gang put him under psychological torture to get answers from him about the Kyofuken. There he reveals that lately many Kyofuken had been killing his kind, even children that had never ate human flesh. He's also suspicious about what they've been doing to the Shokugeki's arms since the new appearance of a drug that he accuses the Kyofuken of making. Yuka allows Toshihiko's capture, most likely still feeling hurt by Toshihiko's tryst with Ryui. Gakito wastes no time, trying to win her back and reveals he knows about her pregnancy. He then tries to inquire about who the father is, but she never says. She firmly believes Toshihiko's the father. When the Kyofuken attacks their hideout, Gakito's group is able to get the upper hand on them. He then tells his group to retreat, and stays behind to buy them and Yuka and Toshihiko time to escape. Before leaving, he tells Toshihiko of her pregnancy and inquires if he has a guest to the paternity. But the pair leave before he can answer Gatuko. Gatuko is last seen trying to fight against Oeba, he most likely died at his hands. Yuka reveals in episode 9, that Gakito looked after her when she had no one left and it developed into a relationship. She states though that the relationship deteriorated when she felt that he was too bossy and he was trying to control her. It is revealed in episode 11, that Oeba did kill him and ultimately cut off his arms and gave them to Ryui for the Kemonozume. Yuka is ultimately broken by the news of his death. Voiced by Kiyoyuki Ayanada, Jin Kenoki. Jin was a famous Kyofuken swordsman, a rival to Jazar Mamoto but eventually befriended him and Oeba. The three were considered the best team Kyofuken and were supposed to duel as to who would be the leader of the Kyofuken. Oeba forfeited, much to his and Jin's shock, Jin won when he fought Jazar. He angrily accused him of losing on purpose. It was revealed Jazar lost because he and Harumi had started a relationship which eventually had her pregnant. Though his reasons were understandable, Jin was extremely angry and felt cheated from the match he wanted for so long. He eventually married Akemi, the daughter of a relative to their old master, and became a stepfather to Ryui. However, he was very cold and uninterested in being a stepfather to Ryui. Much to his wife's dismay, Jin was still hellbent on becoming stronger than Jazar and used an opportunity to use the Kemonozume when Oeba informs him of a village with Shokugeki. He drags Oeba to the village and demands he cut his arms, so he can use the Kemonozume. When Oeba refuses, Jin does it himself. This leaves Oeba mentally scarred watching him. Though Jin becomes consumed by the power, he unintentionally sets Oeba on his dark path, who sees that this is how the world's meant to be. This causes Oeba to believe that the best way to survive is to be stronger. Though it is believed Jazar killed him, Bonj reveals he's alive in episode 10. It is hinted that Oeba most likely saved his former friend and kept him alive, to teach his son Bonj how to control his Kemonozume. Toshihiko meets him in episode 12, but Jin's a broken man from his past and possible living in hiding under Oeba's influence. He becomes very angry when sees Yuka's photo and starts angrily talking about how swordsmanship is a lie. Bonj is able to calm him when he gives Toshihiko a child's book, that Ryui used to ask him to read. It is while he is calmed by the book, it is hinted he regrets how he treated his family and Ryui. He would appear in the last episode, taking the mask both Kazuma and Jazar wore, and stumbles upon Harumi's clones. He eventually finds the group when they battle against Oeba. He tells Toshihiko he wants to believe in his dreams and tells Oeba he was wrong about believing it was best to be stronger. When Oeba refuses to surrender, Jin confronts him about his feelings for Harumi. It is shown he released Harumi's poorly made clones who attack Oeba, giving Toshihiko an advantage in the battle. Jin's seen piloting an airplane with his prosthetic hands, leaving the city with Bonj, Yuka, and Toshihiko. He and Bonj both give their approval that Toshihiko should remain with her. He's seen in the epilogue, years later vacationing with Bonj and the couple. He's seen taking photos, much happier now, and happily takes a photo of Yuka, Toshiko, and their daughter. Voiced by Takayahashi, Sarah, a wily monkey with a liking for peaches. Toshihiko also has a tendency to call him master, because he believes he possesses incredible skills as a fighter. His theory isn't entirely far-fetched, as he has been able to defeat both Toshihiko and Kazuma during battle. He even once undid the screws that held Kazuma's sword together during an attack. He's seen at the end running into a female monkey he mated with. Much to his surprise, he discovers his mate gave birth to their children. List of episodes. Theme songs: Opening theme, Always Blue by Kateni Shiega, Ending theme, Suki by Santara. External links: Japanese, Kemonozume official homepage, Japanese, WOWOW official homepage, Anime pages daily per episode commentary in English, Kemonozume at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia.